Well, good day, pilgrims, and welcome to another Mongrel Dog production. And welcome to this, Lake Ballard, as part of the Golden Quest Discovery Trail. I've gone out and bought myself another motorcycle. It's about time I got acquainted with it. Anyway, grab your gear. Let's go. Well, it's not cold, but it's certainly damp. Not a great start to the adventure. And we are expecting a bit more rain later. Hopefully we'll be on the other side of the Darling Range before that happens, because there's a completely different weather pattern over there. But anyway, I'm on my way to a meet-up point, a marry-up point with a small group, about an hour out of Perth, at a place called the Lakes. There's a roadhouse there. We'll meet there, have a coffee, have a chat, and then sort of get underway. We don't have a destination in mind today, but we should be able to cover about 400 kilometres, I think, which will be a good start, and hopefully we avoid the rain. I hate traffic. There's a bit of fog around this morning. Hopefully that'll lift pretty quickly too. Combination of rain, wet roads and fog. Like I said, not a good start, not a great start. Still, a shitty day on the motorbike has got to be better than a good day at the office. Alright, this is the Lakes Roadhouse. I'm early, intentionally. I'll be surprised if anybody else is here yet. That'll give me an opportunity to consolidate, have a light breakfast, do some final checks before we get underway. Can't see anybody else. There's no shelter here, unfortunately. That's alright, we'll figure it out. Alright, starting to drizzle with rain. Most of us are remaining suited up. We can expect a bit of rain this morning, I think. Okay, let me introduce you to the players. There's Paul over there on his new to him, in fact new, recently released Suzuki, what is it, a DZS or something, DRZS 400 single cylinder, fuel injected, a couple of different riding modes that replaced the old DRZ 400. Chris number 2 on his DR650, everybody's met him before, he's been around for 100 years. On his Tractor of the Desert. Me on my CF Moto 450, new to me, not new, but new to me. It was 12 months old when I bought it. I've only had it for a couple of months. This is its first voyage out, and primarily the reason for this trip. We've got Peter Booth here on his 690 Enduro KTM. He's had that for a few weeks now himself. And lastly, we got Dave on his new 2026 CF Moto 450. We are being joined by another player tomorrow, Chris number 1. Everybody's met him before as well. He'll be joining us on his Suzuki V-Strom outfit tomorrow. So look, we'll get underway. We've got about, 60 kilometres of blacktop. And then we start picking up mostly unsealed roads. If it gets too gnarly, we'll just find the blacktop and stay on that. Yeah, it's starting to rain quite heavily now. We knew that when we signed up. We knew we were expecting rain. Well, not ideal, of course. Alright, we'll get underway. No sense sitting around in the rain. So yeah, blacktop initially to York. This is York. We just transit straight through here, come out the other side. And while I think of it, I should mention, during the intros, regular viewers would notice that Broken Leg Tom is not with us. Tom's actually on a journey of discovery in South America at the moment. He's bought himself a CF Moto 450, same as this, and he's currently, travelling through Central and South America, trying to stay out of trouble and hopefully trying to stay out of hospital. And it's probably timely that I try and join the dots about this trip. I bought this bike a few months ago. It's been sitting in the shed, and I thought it was timely to take it for a bit of a run. I'm considering this a shakedown trip, although shakedown trips don't normally last for 5 days. But I reached out to these blokes because I know a lot of the guys I knock around with don't need much of an excuse to go for a ride. So I said, look fellas, I'm going for a ride. I'm going to go and do the Golden Quest Discovery Trail, which is a self-guided tour, if you like, through the goldfields of Western Australia, in and around Kalgoorlie. It's a good circuit for those guys thinking about getting into adventure riding, and what I mean by that is most of the roads and tracks are good, well-formed gravel roads, mostly unsealed, but in good shape, and there's lots of points of interest along the way. So we'll spend a few days and do that. Bush camp, of course, have a fire at night, and try and solve all the world's problems while sitting around the campfire. So I just I've got the bike, I've got the time. I figured we might as well get out there. Dave's got a new CF 450, so it's probably timely for him to become familiar with it. And Paul has gone out and bought himself a new Suzuki 400. So that's the idea of this trip. As I said, just primarily a shakedown trip, Monday to Friday. Getting the bird. Over and walk around the bikes, just check things. Just don't know how deep it is and what the surface is like underneath. Some of it before now has been quite loose underfoot. It's just got that couple of millimetres of mud on top, and you find yourself losing traction both front and rear. We were sticking to the route, but we came across, let's call it a mud flat, and it was a bit loose underfoot, and then it just got to the point where it's going to turn to muck. So I thought, rather than take the risk, it was probably only 100 metres long, but rather than take the risk, I decided to turn around, and I'm not sorry I did. A couple of the blokes are stuck. It just means we've got to take a bit of a bypass, and the bypass is not very far, probably a couple of kilometres. So none of us are here to be challenged. And once again, that's why we're doing the Golden Quest Discovery route, because it shouldn't be challenging, providing it's dry, of course. I don't think he laid it over. I think he's just bogged. I think his front guard is filled up with mud. They just lost the front wheel up. Yeah, the front guard's choked up with mud. That's the problem with the low guards. No, it's not turning at all. It's not turning at all. And once that guard comes off, mate, there's nothing stopping it. There's nothing stopping it from turning. Yeah, mate. Yeah, you're not out of the woods yet either, are you? Is this why they call it adventure riding? There's a small community up here called Hines Hill. We'll call in there and see if we can find a tap, just so that we can get rid of the bulk of the mud on that guard and then refit it. You wouldn't want to be riding around without the guard on, because it just cop all this shit through the dashboard and through this area here, and you know, you end up copping it in the face. So we'll go there, we'll look for a tap, spend a few minutes to clean it up, and then continue on. We found a tap. We're just going to knock on the door, just ask for permission, do the right thing. Can hear a dog going off. There's a tap there, you'd expect it to be plumbed. We'll only use what we need. Alright, we're going to continue on through the bush to Merredin, and Dave's going to slab it to Merredin. He's done the best he can with that garden hose, but there's that stuff has stuck like shit to a blanket, and if it goes hard it'll set like concrete. So he's going to get to Merredin, see if he can find a car wash or something like that, and we'll meet him in town. I can't be sure, but I think, in fact I'm pretty sure that yeah, we've entered private property somehow. We were following the pipeline for a long time, then we came to a junction, and yeah, instead of turning left I've chosen to turn right. Yeah, anyway, I'm sure it'll lead somewhere. Well, looks like we're going to finish the day the same way we started, with a wet arse, I think. Not far to Southern Cross now. We'll have to refuel there, and then we'll just ride for another half an hour or so and find a bush camp, I think. We're not running out of daylight, but we're cutting it fine, so I think what I might do, we just passed what looked like a pretty substantial track going in, so we might go back there and suss it out for a bush camp, I think. Nobody likes putting their gear up, you know, in the dark, and at the moment it's not raining, so it'd be good if we could, you know, it'd be good if we could get sorted before it starts to rain. I mean, even this is big enough, you know, no shortage of timber. We'll be right. The road's not far, but we're upwind, so if there is any traffic we won't hear it. Pick a spot, fellas, pick a spot. Just got to be mindful of the fact that yeah, I expect it will rain this evening. Might not be much, but you can bet your left testicle it's going to rain, so you just want to make sure when you set your tent up, keep that in mind. Well, what a horrible start to the day. It rained a little bit last night, and I expected that. That was forecast. But as we were packing up, it just bucketed down. All the gear's wet, right down to the jocks almost. Yeah, not a good start. We were supposed to go towards the railway line and follow that for the next couple of 100 kilometres. We will still do that, but yeah, some of the conditions could be a bit more slippery than we anticipated. Anyway, we'll figure it out. If it gets too gnarly, we'll just turn around and find our way back to the blacktop. We don't want to do that. That's the last alternative. We're approaching Corya Nobbing. there's an iron ore mine here. We're a long way south for iron ore, I would have thought. We're only a few hours out of Perth. But anyway, yeah, there's an iron ore mine here. I don't think it's a big operation, but it's an operation nonetheless. And the Trans-Australian Railway line is just to our front. And that's the road we'll be following for the next couple of hours. There's obviously a maintenance track alongside the railway line. And that's what we'll be using. It should be in reasonable shape, I think. It's got to be, in case they've got to maintain the railway. Big sign there saying public road, that's good. So yeah, we'll see how we go. And if we get nervous, we'll find our way back to the blacktop. Yeah, it's a bit gooey there. I wouldn't want to be here on the 1200. That would be a handful out here in these conditions. This is Coolgardie. This is where we're meant to meet Chris number 1. We've lost a bit of time. I'm not sorry to be off that track. That was pretty ordinary. Certainly wetter than we anticipated. Chris is probably already here. He would have left Perth earlier today. So yeah, we'll pull in, get a bite to eat, certainly refuel. Yeah, I can see his bite from here, I think. So yeah, we'll be here for a little while just to reconcile and consolidate. And this is actually the beginning of the Golden Quest Discovery Trail. So we'll pick that up straight after lunch. Chris is on his Suzuki V-Strom sidecar. Alright, we've gained one, but we've lost one. Peter is going to return to Perth. He's got some charging issues. Yeah, he can't charge any of his ancillary equipment. He's got a problem with the electrics on the bike. So, and that was the whole idea of this trip for him as well, a shakedown trip. That bike's only new to him. So the whole idea was to bring it out here just to find out what works and what doesn't. So he's going to slap it back to Perth. And of course we've been joined by Chris with his sidecar. So yeah, from here we'll make our way to the start of the Golden Quest Discovery Trail. And the first port of call will be a place called Rowell's Lagoon, which I expect will have some water in it. We'll know more shortly. So yeah, there's the sign there, Golden Quest Discovery Trail, length 965 kilometres. Start. Yeah, it's a self-guided tour, if you like, of the goldfields. Points of interest along the way, a few campsites along the way, mostly unsealed, but the roads are in reasonable shape, I guess, yeah, when they're dry. I've had to turn around and come back because all the blokes have pulled over. Paul's got a problem with the electrics on his bike. Looks like other tourist traffic doing the same thing we are. Roadworks on Coolgardie North Road, February, June. Yeah, alright. There was a sign back there saying that the Coolgardie North Road, which is the one we're on, is open to all vehicles. So if they've had any rain, it obviously wasn't enough to affect the road. I can see the gravel in front of us. So that's the beginning of the unsealed stuff, and it'll be like that now probably for the next, well, other than a couple of minor ribbons of asphalt, it'll be like that for the next 3 days, I think. This is what I mean about, you know, a few points of interest along the way. In this case, what do we got? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The Premier Hotel. Would have been during the gold rush days. Not much left standing now. All the roof timbers are gone. They reuse those on other building projects. Oop, there we go. I hadn't seen any headlights for a little while, but I can see at least one, two. Yeah, Paul's hazard lights won't turn off. Must be an electrical fault there somewhere. Might have got a bit of moisture in it or something. I don't know. We'll have a look at it this evening. Alright, we're coming up to Rouse Lagoon. I've been here once or twice before. I've never seen it, or never known it to have water in it. Although I do believe that they used to use it for water skiing. Anyway, we'll go and check it out. I don't think everybody in the group has been here, so that's reason enough to go and have a look-see. Looks pretty dry to me. Not a lot going on there. Hard to believe they, have used it in the past for water skiing. It may have been fed artificially, perhaps by a local mine or something, I'm not quite sure, but hard to think that you'd ever get enough rainfall here for water skiing to take place. Anyway, we'll pull over, have a few minutes rest, and then get underway. Well, from here we're going to go not very far down the road to, we're going to go to what used to be an old homestead, Mount Credo I think it's called. I've never been there before. I just want to call in there. It is a recognised campground, and I do believe they have showers and a long drop dunny there, but I just want to go and check it out for future reference. You never know when you might be around this neck of the woods again and want a place to pull over, so we'll go and have a look-see, eh? Alright, here we are here. It used to be a station, now it's a recognised campground. Free to use as far as I know. It's about a kilometre in. We'll go and check it out, eh? Would have been cattle, I guess, back in the day, cattle or sheep. Homestead and caretaker, 500 metres. It said Credo Research Facility or something, so maybe it's occupied. Don't know what they'd be researching, but anyway, yeah, we'll have a bit of a poke around. Sheep, yeah, that would have been the shearing shed there. Doesn't look like it's been vacated for very long. Everything's still up. Homestead caretaker 100 metres, Credo Research Centre 100 metres, shearers quarters. Don't see any vehicles. It's obviously private. Go and check out the shearers quarters. Looks like a toilet block of sorts. Here's the campground. Tents, caravans, toilets. Got a little bit of infrastructure here. Tables and chairs. That'll be the long drop dunny. There's a water point there. That's about the extent of it, I think. Oh, there's a water tank over there. I wonder if that's a shower. It's got a chip heater there. So there must be the showers, I think. Yep. Might be a valve that you got to turn on, perhaps. Yeah, be over there. That'll be the water supply there. Alright. Yeah, they got some stuff here, fire pits and the like, but I think it'd be pretty devoid of firewood, so we'll keep moving. We'll go 30 minutes down the road, find a bush camp somewhere, and then yeah, pull up, see if we can sort out Cots's electrical problems. And of course all our gear is wet, well, the tentage at least, so might pull up 30 minutes earlier and give that a chance to dry out. I don't think we're going to see any more wet weather for the next 24 hours, which would be good.